right. 5 disturbing recordings left by missing persons. Why didn't you just say people?
Our last video.
Yeah. That, it was alright, you know. It was decent enough to make him get up and walk out of the room. You roll the footage back.
Motherfucking Jesus.
Let me get the other one.
Dear God and Lord and Savior, please save us today. We're going to watch a scary video. Don't let the spirits attack us. I respect you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for life. Amen.
Amen.
And that's a gateway to heaven.
Okay.
Jesus. Thank the Lord.
Okay.
Alright. Well, let's get into the video. T, make sure you don't shit yourself this time. And be good.
Haven't ate nothing crazy, so I don't think I would.
Alright. That's good. Money in the bank. Right.
Hopefully you got some good food for dinner.
No, we'll see.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what we're going to say. You sure about this?
I don't know.
Just by the way it started off, it just
like you
weird.
just see a whole bunch of fucking missing people.
Yeah, you know
like,
what's crazy?
Off the rip.
You ever been to Walmart? Yeah, you've been to Walmart.
Yeah.
Yo, they used to have like a big old like board
like
full
a
of
banner.
missing people.
Yup.
It's crazy because
where the fuck they go?
Yeah, they took that down after a while. Like they took the whole board down.
Listen. Any young kid is watching this video. Make sure you know how to protect yourself, bro.
Yeah.
There's some crazy ass people out in this world. Like for real. Like no joking. Like joking aside, there's some crazy ass people in this world. No matter you walk around, like the cops hate it, but it's for your fucking safety. Walk around with a knife. Like make sure you know how to protect yourself, bro. Cause there's some crazy ass people in this world, bro.
Yes, there is, man.
Like make sure you know how to protect yourself. Like for real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ain't no one gonna try to take me. I'm too damn big. I'm gonna knock your ass out. And you got multiple. It's too graphic for YouTube, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna poke your asses up. You try to take me. All right.
Let's get this.
On July 29th, 2008, a mother of 2 named Susan Powell recorded a video where she documented the assets in her home in Utah, just in case, in her own words, something happened to her.
This is me. July 29th, 2008. It is 12:33 Mountain Time. Covering all my bases, making sure that if something happens to me or my family or all of us, that our assets are documented. Hope everything works out and we're all happy and live happily ever after as much as that's possible.
The video was made on...
Her husband killed her. 100%.
What made you think that?
I already know, bro.
Like the husband's probably the head, and he probably
he definitely like.
Let's see what they got.
He's definitely the one that, like, I'm just trying to, before we get it deeper into the video, I know we're 49 seconds into it, but off this little clip, about like 15 seconds of a video that she made, I can tell her husband killed her. Like, but like, nah, it's giving me weird vibes. Like, why do you have to document everything that you have, all your assets, and in the back of your head you think something's gonna happen to your family?
He's right, Chad. He's right. Let's see what he says.
On her attorney's advice, who feared that Susan's husband Josh might have tried to sell some of her most expensive assets.
The fuck did I say? What did I say? What did I say? I can tell, bro. I know. I can tell. I'm a good fucking reader when it comes to like scary and fucking abusive and all that shit. I can tell, bro.
By the way, we did not watch this. We did not watch it.
We did not watch it. They came off the top of my dome of how she reacted in the video. How she reacted gave me a vibe that her husband is going to do something to her and her family. Now look, he only said something about the husband, about him having the most expensive assets.
Okay, yeah.
Now we gotta see if it's.
In the years leading up to the now infamous video's recording, the couple's marriage had been under a lot of strain, and during the recording, Susan lets on that things had been everything but peaceful between her and Josh over the past few years.
This is all stuff bought in a year or less through Home Depot on my credit. Josh bought a lot of stuff and then he had to bankrupt it. And then he bought a little bit more on my credit.
What was that noise?
There's a nice lamp. These are things to roll wood with.
What?
And I had necklaces too. I don't know where those are. I just got in a rage, as you can see, and broke this. There's duds and pearls and opals in there. Broke this and threw all my DVDs and made a mess. Because he was angry at me about a year or two back.
So is she missing or is she dead?
Although Susan had been seeing a divorce attorney to look into the possibility of leaving her husband, they were still living together in 2009, almost a year and a half after the video was recorded. On the morning of December 6th of that year, Susan went to church with her two boys, after which a neighbor went to visit her, leaving her house at about 5 p.m.
The fuck was that?
That night,
I think that was
Josh
the chair.
allegedly
Oh,
took
little
the
piece,
couple's
little
two
thing.
boys,
Came
Charlie and
over.
Braden
Wow.
Powell, on a camping trip in the middle of the night in blizzard conditions to a campsite on the Pony Express Trail. According to Josh, Susan stayed home because she was tired. The story goes that the next day,
Wait, so the
Susan's family and
husband-
friends reported her missing when her two boys weren't dropped off at daycare.
Wait, so the
When
husband was
Josh
driving.
came back from the supposed camping trip with his sons, he said that when he had left the previous evening, his wife had been sleeping peacefully at home and that he had no idea what could have happened to her. After searching the couple's house in
How?
Utah,
But if he
police
did
found no signs of foul play, but things continued to get stranger as the investigation continued. Inside Susan's safe deposit box at the bank where she worked, the cops found a handwritten will and testament in which Susan alleged that Josh had taken out a $1 million life insurance policy on her a few weeks prior. Disturbingly, she also wrote, "If I die, it may not be an accident." About 10 days after she mysteriously disappeared, the authorities also found that Josh had filed paperwork to withdraw money from a retirement account, and he was officially declared a person of interest in the case. Suspiciously, Susan's family and friends reported that during the search efforts, Josh never seemed to show a genuine interest in finding his wife. But despite the mountain of evidence stacked against him, Josh Powell was never formally charged in his wife's disappearance. During the investigation, the cops questioned the couple's two sons, but it was hard to get any solid information out of them on account of their age. Even though they mentioned that Josh had taken Susan with them on their camping trip on the night of the disappearance, they also made outlandish claims, including allegations that they had arrived at the campsite by airplane. This made it impossible to use their statements as evidence that Josh was responsible for his wife's disappearance.
It's just like, I don't... You let him go.
One thing, right? Understand this, what they just said.
Mm-hmm.
The kid said they arrived there on airplane. Right? How do you arrive on a mountain on an airplane?
Helicopter?
Number one, airplane. Airplane, right?
Maybe he mistaken because look at the damn title.
But look, watch, peep this. It leads all to the husband.
But he's not guilty.
He's a white man.
I'm not surprised.
He's a white man. He's gonna get away with shit like this. Listen, Hispanic and a black man, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. They're taking our ass to jail.
Yeah, this nigga's guilty.
We're done.
25 years of life. And then they find out it wasn't you.
But look, he took money out. Why would you take money away from her life insurance plan? $1 million at that. Then the kid said, right? The kid said they both of their parents went to the trip. What did the dad say?
Wait. So why? Yo, you're right. He isn't even guilty either.
What-
It makes no sense.
What did the dad say?
Said
I took my kids to the mountains. He didn't say I took my family and my wife to the mountains. He said I took my kids to the mountains. Right? Then peep. After she made the video, after she did all that, trying to protect her assets because she knew he was going to do something. How did she know? And she said in the paperwork that the cops read, right?
We should go back and read it though.
It was not, if I die, is not an accident. Who does that lead to? Why would she think she would die? Oh, ding, ding, ding. You got it. The husband was abusive. I don't know how to say that word.
Manipulated?
Yes. He was an evil person, right? Mm-hmm. Why are you taking money and you're not trying to fight to find your wife, the mother of your children? Right? Why are you not fighting? Why are you not trying to be like, make sure the cops are on top of it?
I ain't gonna lie.
And you took money from her in the life insurance plan. Her life insurance plan. And that money's supposed to go to the kids. That's part of a will. Right? He wanted all the money. How is he not guilty?
He got a lot of money.
How is he not in jail? Make it make sense. How is he not in jail?
Almost since 2009?
2008.
2008.
And that's when white men were like, they ran everything. Right? Like, no offense to the white men that are watching this video. It's very truthful. Like, it's why it's all adding up that he had something to do with it. Maybe he didn't do it.
And he don't even want to find her. So wait, what if she's like not dead though? Like,
exactly. Why are you not trying to find her? Make it make sense. And why did you take money from her will?
Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't make sense.
She had to record all her assets, and she had to claim that it was under her credit.
Now, what if the husband got somebody to do it? Because remember,
exactly,
they wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
Yeah, so he might have called someone and tell them while the kids were doing something, probably asleep. Call them.
Go ahead and do it.
All right.
Look, it's not done. We still got at least like 2 minutes in the segment. Gotta see.
Parents. Shortly after, Josh and his two sons moved back to their home state of Washington, but the authorities soon determined it wasn't safe for Braden and Charlie to be living with their father in the middle of the investigation, and Josh lost custody of the boys. This is where things get extremely disturbing. On February 5th, 2012, more than 2 years after Susan's disappearance, a state caseworker brought the two boys to Josh's house for what was supposed to be a supervised visit. Immediately upon their arrival, Josh locked the social worker out of the house and took the lives of both his children and himself.
I said it. I said it. I said it.
They need this nigga on Criminal Minds, man. They need this nigga on Criminal Minds.
I said it.
100%, man.
By setting the house on fire with gasoline. If his behavior during the initial phases of the investigation was suspicious, the unspeakable crimes Josh committed on that day in 2012 were about as clear of an admission of guilt as you can get in a case like this.
Now, what if he lived, though?
So, peep this. What I think, he's going to say next in the video.
He didn't die.
No, look. What? That the reason he burnt the house and he locked the social worker outside is so that he can hide their bodies, right? After he killed them, laid them next to the mother, which could be in a basement.
But that house doesn't look like it has a basement.
It has a basement? 100% it does.
You got a basement?
It's a crawl space. But peep, why would he
But wouldn't it start to
He
smell
did it.
though?
He did it.
What
No.
did this wait?
No. Not if
Oh, he
you
could have froze it.
freeze the body.
It's been like a couple years.
If you freeze the body.
It's been like a couple years.
Since 2008. It's 2012. That body has no odor. It's decapitated. Unless he froze the body, it's decapitated.
It's just skeleton of it.
It's skeleton.
That's weird.
It's been eaten up by bugs. It's over.
In the aftermath of the tragic incident, the cops started looking into Josh's brother and father, who they suspected knew more about the case than they were letting on. Even though they had solid evidence to suggest Michael, Josh's brother, had helped him conceal Susan's body, the case reached a dead end when Michael also took his own life in 2013. More than a decade later, Susan's dad won a lawsuit against Washington State for nearly $100 million on grounds of negligence and failure to protect the 2 children who were supposed to be in the state's custody, a big chunk of which he gave to a charity to support domestic violence survivors.
Good.
Almost 15 years after her disappearance and murder of her 2 children, people still gather in Susan's hometown of Puyallup, Washington every year to pay their respects and honor her memory. The last video Susan made documenting her assets received a lot more attention after everything had happened. With hindsight, the video is portrayed in a much more disturbing light. Susan saying things like, "I'm recording this just in case anything happens," makes you wonder if she knew her husband could do something this horrible as she was filming. Over the years, Susan's father has been alerted of possible locations where his daughter's remains might be buried, including abandoned mines in Utah and other isolated locations. Sadly, every lead has turned out to be a false alarm, and it's very unlikely that Susan's remains will ever be found.
It has never been found.
This video was 8 months ago.
Years ago, and there's nothing new about it now.
That's crazy. That's crazy how much they'll just shut down something.
They never found it.
That is... It's fucking disgusting. Damn. Now do you see what I mean? You set a house on fire with people in it, their body's gonna be ashes. I have a feeling, like I said, he probably buried her body or froze it and put it in the basement or in the attic. Then he carried all of their bodies, carried his 2 kids' bodies upstairs next to her. This shit is... I hate shit like this, bro.
Creepy.
Not creepy, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
She ain't even get to live her life with her kids. Mark, is you jealous?
Amber Tucaro was a 20-year-old Canadian First Nations woman from Fort McMurray, Alberta. In August of 2012,
Canada.
She flew from Alberta to Edmonton International Airport and booked a hotel room with her 1-year-old son
That is
and
a
a female
big-ass
friend
plane.
for a short vacation.
How's it got so many wheels?
That
we
night,
should
she
watch
got
the video
excited
while the
about
plane
trip
disappeared.
and
You
decided to
heard about that
hitchhike
plane?
into the city
No.
by herself.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
After which, she was never seen again.
They got a
When
whole
Amber
TV
didn't
show.
return to the hotel the next day, her friend
Yeah,
called her
no, I
mother,
can't
who
stay in a
immediately
hotel
called
with
the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Soon after, Amber was declared a missing person. The authorities dug into her phone records and found that she had received a phone call while she was in the company of an unidentified man. The recording is pretty unsettling, especially since it marked the last
Got
time
something to
she
do
was
with a
ever
boyfriend.
heard alive.
Where are we going? We're just heading south of Beaumont, or north of Beaumont. We're heading north of Beaumont. Yo, where are we going?
boyfriend.
She's drugged up. You ever heard of slurs? Listen to her voice. She's on something.
Where are we by?
Yeah,
We're just heading south of Beaumont, or north of Beaumont. We're heading north of Beaumont. Yo, where are we going? No, this is Are you kidding me? You better not take me anywhere I don't want to go. I want to go into the city. Yo, we're not going into the city, are we? No, we're not. So where are these roads going to? 50th Street. 50th Street. Are you sure? Absolutely. Yo, where are we going?
absolutely.
50th Street. 50th Street. 50th Street. East, right? East. Just over town. Problem.
Why does she sound like she's...
In the recording, a male driver can be heard reassuring Amber that they're heading where she wants to go, but she doesn't seem to be buying the
She's
story
drunk,
and is
right.
obviously pretty distressed. On August 28th, the cops released the phone conversation,
Why, David,
but
from
they
above
didn't
that?
officially start investigating the disappearance until well after a month after Amber was reported missing. Sadly, when Amber's mother pressured the cops to do something and help her find their daughter, they dismissed her and told her that Amber was probably just out partying and would turn up soon. Tragically,
Out partying. That's what y'all cops think, bro? She's out partying. 2 years later. Oh yeah, she's out partying. She'll be back. Is that really what you want to tell a mother? I ain't got nothing to say.
on September 1st, 2012, just 4 days after the audio from the eerie conversation was released, the remains of Amber's body were found on a rural property near Leduc County by a group of horseback riders. One of the most frustrating aspects of this case is how unprofessionally the disappearance was handled by the Canadian police. After just 1 month of searching, Amber was taken off missing persons list based on a series of suspicious, unconfirmed, and anonymous sightings in Edmonton, and it took her mother an entire month to get her back on the list. By the time she was put back on the list by the negligent cops who made the unforgivable mistake, her property, which could have been used as evidence, had already been accidentally destroyed after it was recovered from her hotel. Over the years, a few women have come forward claiming to know the identity of the man in the recording, with all of them accusing the same man. The authorities say they've looked into him, but he wasn't declared a person of interest. A few years ago, another man...
What? You have multiple females saying that they saw this man and there's not enough evidence?
came forward and claimed that the man in the recording was his father, an American citizen with no legal standing in Canada who had been living on a ranch in the greater Edmonton area. If the man's testimony is to be believed, his father is also responsible for several other mysterious disappearances and deaths that have taken place in the area over the last few years. One of the most disturbing aspects in the recording is the audible dishonesty in the man's voice, which is pretty much clear as day when Amber asks if he's sure they're going into the city, and he responds with an extremely fake "absolutely." It's also pretty messed up how the cops handled the case from start to finish, and many people suspect the cause of the unprofessional management of the case was just straight up racism against the Indigenous woman. Hopefully, we'll someday have an explanation for what happened that night to Amber Tuccaro, but for now the case remains a pretty disturbing mystery.
Who's next? Kenny V.
In late 2014, a YouTuber named Kenny Veach commented under the username SnakeBitMcGee on a video titled Area 51 Technician Son Discloses Secret
Area 51. Yep, you already know how this is gonna go.
Alternative Energy. The comment read, "That ain't nothing. I am a long-distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find, but as I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly I became very scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that ever happened to me." As you can imagine, Kenny's comment immediately caught a lot of people's attention. Some people called Kenny a liar, while others encouraged him to find the cave again and record his findings. And so he agreed to do just that. On October 18th of that year, Kenny uploaded a video of his long-distance hike in the Nevada desert in which he attempted to find the cave for a second time.
Why would he go back?
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas. This is a canyon I just walked up in. Now you can't tell, but my truck is way out there by the mountains at the very, very end of this valley.
At the beginning of the video, Kenny stands at the top of an abandoned mine shaft and gives his viewers an introduction into the monstrous hike that lies ahead of him that day. As the day goes on, he continues to record what he sees as he travels through the Mojave Desert trying to locate the cave again.
There's some interesting stuff coming up here. Look, see those? Look at that. Kinda. Right there. That's kinda cool. Alright, I'm gonna turn it off and then I'll turn it back on here. Look at that, that's pretty cool right there.
Probably never turned it back on.
Hell no, he most definitely did not turn that back on.
Alright, off with the camera.
Oh,
That was the end of the video Kenny posted. Because he failed to find the cave the second time through, a lot of his viewers criticized him pretty brutally, calling him a fraud and pressuring him into trying to find the cave for a third time. In a sea of comments provoking Kenny, a user named Lemmy Killmister made a particularly disturbing and ominous comment that read, "No, do not go back there. If you find that cave entrance, don't go in. You won't get out." Still, on November 10th of that year, Kenny told his family he was going on an overnight hiking trip, and he set off by himself for the third time to find the mysterious M Cave in the Mojave Desert, one of the hottest and driest regions in the world. That was the last time he was ever seen. On November 22nd, 2014, 12 days after he set off on his search for the M Cave, a group of search and rescue volunteers found Kenny's phone lying at the top of the same mine shaft he had pointed out in his M Cave video. Unfortunately, after his phone was located, the case went cold, and Kenny's body was never found. After the mysterious disappearance, people started coming up with all sorts of theories to explain what could have happened to Kenny, with most people claiming that he...
Chilling scares.
No, the guy that went missing.
Snakebite McGee.
Hit me with a fucking hat, dude. He's
Damn.
not even getting paid for it.
He's still getting paid.
Shit.
Rip, he seems like an awesome guy. No.
In the middle of the desert and had to be silenced, or that he found a secret military base and was eliminated by the government. However, a few months after his disappearance, a comment on the original video made by a woman named Sharon Pilgrim shed light on an entirely new possibility, that Kenny had taken his own life.
What?
The comment read, "I am the girlfriend that Kenny spoke of in the video. Kenny has not been found, and I feel that he probably will not be found for many, many months, if ever. I want you to know that I do not think Kenny had an accident. I believe he took his life. He battled with depression for many years and would not take medication or see a doctor. He quit his job a little more than a year before he disappeared." In response to his phone being found at the mine shaft, Sharon then added, "The mine shaft was about a 4-hour hike from his car. It is my feeling that he left it behind so that he could not be tracked from the GPS in it. He also did not take his video camera with him on this solo hike. It was left in his home, so he had no intention of filming anything. I am healing from my loss and look forward to new experiences with desert hiking, camping, and taking beautiful pictures of our desert. Enjoy your adventures of life, and thank you for the kind, loving comments sent my way." Even though the woman's comment seems pretty genuine and brings light to the very real possibility that Kenny took his own life, the case still doesn't have a solid conclusion. Over the years, several other YouTubers have found caves in the same area Kenny was hiking in that almost perfectly resemble the letter M, and recently one of them even had a danger restricted area sign put up next to his entrance. So, even though it's possible that Kenny took his own life in the desert, his disappearance has still left more questions than answers. On September 8th, 2015, a man named Tim from Mounds View, Minnesota contacted the police and told them his friend, 32-year-old Henry McCabe, a Liberian immigrant and auditor for the Department of Revenue, had gone missing. As per Tim's testimony, Henry had been at a barbecue hosted by a friend named Emmanuel earlier that day and had left to go to a nightclub at around 11 p.m. After following up with the two acquaintances who had been with Henry at the club on the night of the disappearance, the cops realized they had a pretty complicated case on their hands. According to the two friends who had been with Henry at the Celebi nightclub in Spring Lake that night, Henry had been drinking pretty heavily, and upon leaving the club at around 2 a.m., he allegedly asked William, one of the acquaintances he was with, to drop him off at a gas station nearby. After getting dropped off by William, who thought it was strange that Henry rejected his offer to drop him off at his house instead of a random gas station, Henry called his wife a little after 2:20 a.m. According to his wife, Henry sounded pretty delirious on the call, and near the end of the conversation, she called one of Henry's friends to ask him to go get her husband. Even though the friend didn't answer the call, the last 2 minutes of the conversation between Henry and his wife were recorded by the friend's voicemail, and the content of the conversation is pretty disturbing.
I can't understand.
It's like muffled.
It's like he's choking on his blood. It's like someone's trying to save him, but he's choking on his blood. He's gonna die. No, it sounds like someone's strangling him.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
And now he's fading.
It's almost impossible to make out any of the words in the audio, and the combination of growls, moans, and screams makes it hard to know what to even make of the recording. But needless to say, the voicemail is pretty unsettling. It almost sounds like the screams are coming from someone who's being attacked, but we obviously can't know for sure. That same evening, another acquaintance called Henry and later told police that it sounded as though Henry had gotten into an altercation with someone in the middle of the call. Strangely, even though Corinne McCabe, Henry's wife, mentioned that the sounds her husband was making during the call were extremely out of character for him, who was usually perfectly articulate, she only made a single call to one of Henry's friends to try and get him to pick up her husband, and when she didn't get a response, she went right back to bed. Even more strangely, during her questioning, Corinne repeatedly told the cops that she knew Henry was alive, even though she didn't have the evidence to prove it directly. After this extremely disturbing voicemail was recorded, Henry's phone records show that he called a Texas number that he had called over 20 times that day, but when the cops tried to trace the number, it came up as no longer in service. It's impossible to know if the calls themselves were made by Henry or someone else, but after the unsettling conversation with his wife, phone records show that several calls were made from Henry's phone to that same now disconnected number in the days following his disappearance. As the investigation went on, things continued to get stranger. Suspiciously, the cops never found footage of William's red car pulling up to the gas station where he had supposedly dropped Henry off, even though they checked the entire night's footage from all angles. William later ended up changing his story and alleged that as soon as he dropped Henry off, he immediately got back in the car and William dropped him off at another gas station a couple of miles away. It was later revealed by a confidential FBI informant that during the searches that took place after the disappearance, Emmanuel, the host of the barbecue, and a group of 3 other men would often stand a few feet away from the rest of the search party and talk suspiciously among themselves. Still, it was never determined if they had anything to do with the disappearance. On October 2nd, almost a month after Henry went missing, a strange anonymous letter was sent to the New Brighton Police Department a few miles from where Henry went missing. The letter read, "Henry McCabe, his body next to water, partially buried. Needs search dog to find. Witness who saw burial scared, female young. Asked to come forward. Can remain anonymous and will protect." On November 2nd, the cops found Henry's body in Rush Lake, a few miles from where Henry had supposedly been dropped off on the night of his disappearance. Mysteriously, they didn't find any signs of foul play on his body, even though the anonymous letter suggests he was buried by someone else. Despite the lack of evidence on his body, it's possible that he was either forcibly drowned by a group of assailants, that he took his own life, or that something entirely different took place that night. The only thing we know for sure is that this is an extremely strange case that we'll probably never get a conclusive explanation for. In the summer of 2013, a 26-year-old oil worker from Texas named Brandon Lawson arrived home from work and immediately got into an argument with his long-term girlfriend. Things had been pretty tense between the couple in the days leading up to that evening, as Brandon had frequently been working Monday through Sunday, and the youngest of the couple's 2 children was only a few months old. Also, Brandon had recently relapsed into addiction, which further strained their relationship. It's unclear if his girlfriend kicked him out of the house or if he decided to leave after about an hour of arguing. But whatever the case, Brandon got in his silver Ford F-150 and drove away from his home in San Angelo at midnight on August 8th, after which he was never seen again. The incredibly strange events that took place over the next few hours have turned this case into one of the most mysterious and disturbing disappearances of the decade. About half an hour after leaving his house, Brandon made a phone call to his brother Kyle, letting him know that he was a few miles south of Braun on a stretch of highway in the middle of nowhere and that he was out of gas. After fetching a gas can from Brandon's house, which was about a mile away from his own, Kyle got into his car and prepared to drive to his brother's location. But things didn't exactly go according to plan for Brandon, and a few minutes later, at around 12:50 a.m., he made this disturbing call to 911.
911 emergency. Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. It's like we just pushed some guys over. Right here going for the gasoline on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one more here. I got to take it to the woods. Please hurry. Okay, now run that by me. We're not talking to him. I tell you, ran into him. Ah, you ran into him. Okay. Got the first guy. Do you need an ambulance? Yeah. No, I need the call. Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
No, look.
Although it's hard to make...
Look at the screen,
Hello? Hello?
Although it's hard to make out what's going on in the background, many people have alleged that they can hear the sound of gunshots and other people talking in the audio, but it's hard to confirm what exactly was being said and what was even going on during the call. 8 minutes after Brandon's 911 call, another driver called the cops to inform that a silver F-150 had been parked pretty dangerously on the highway, with the back of the truck sticking out into the other lane. Following his call to 911, Brandon continued to contact his brother Kyle by phone, and they exchanged a series of strange phone calls. Even though these next calls weren't recorded, according to Kyle, Brandon sounded extremely paranoid, repeatedly claiming that he was being chased out of town by the Mexicans in the neighborhood. When Kyle asked him if he had been using drugs,
That shit is not funny, bro.
You're getting chased by
How you getting chased, bro?
by some Mexicans.
Probably by some Mexicans.
Probably by some Mexicans.
All right, my boy. Okay.
Now, what if the guy was black?
Oh my gosh.
Now, what if the guy was black?
Holy Lord. Nah, yeah, what if he was black, bro?
Chased by some Mexicans.
Alright, man. That concludes the video.
Wait. It's not done yet, though.
Oh.
It's bro about the end of the video. There's still like a minute left.
drugs again, Brandon immediately denied it. At around 1:10 a.m., Kyle arrived at the location where the truck was parked, but Brandon was nowhere to be seen. A few minutes after his brother's arrival, Brandon once again called Kyle and made a series of disturbing statements, claiming that he could see Kyle and the officer that had just arrived at the scene, that he was bleeding, and that they needed to hurry. Disturbingly, he was nowhere in sight. For the next few minutes, Kyle continued to try to get in touch with Brandon, but all his calls went straight to voicemail. After failing to find him that night, the cops launched an official search for Brandon, complete with helicopters, thermal cameras, dogs, and a massive search party. Unfortunately, Brandon was nowhere to be found. It was later revealed that Brandon had cashed out his 401k on the night of his disappearance, suggesting he might have vanished on his own accord. However, due to his distressed phone calls to 911 and his brother, it's also possible that Brandon fell victim to some sort of cartel activity.
Look at the guy in the back.
Ran into on the road attacked him.
Pete. Look at the
guy. At a restaurant, bro.
No. Let me see.
It's at a restaurant.
Nigga, look.
Bro.
So why would he be staring into the camera like that?
Activity, or that somebody
You don't
Bro,
see
that is a old picture, bro.
cashed out his 401k.
Look
He's
at
taking a picture with his kid.
no. Let me see. Let me show you.
He wasn't with his kids that night, bro.
No.
What?
No, let me.
Bro, why?
Hey, on the night of his disappearance.
Why does that
suggesting
matter?
He might have vanished.
What
on
if
his
this
own
guy
accord.
was like
However,
following
through his
him?
distressed phone calls to 911
Why
and
would
his
he
brother,
follow
it's
him?
also possible that Brandon fell victim to some
Cartel.
sort of
Does he
crime
look like he's part of the cartel?
that somebody
He
ran
could.
into him
It's a
with
white
his-
man. A white
In
middle
February
fucking
2022,
68-year-old
a search party
man.
consisting of family members and friends found a pair of shoes and clothing that matched the description of what Brandon was wearing on the night of his disappearance. And after searching the area, the
What kind of shoes was he wearing?
The cartels.
cops found human remains near the location of the shoes and clothing. Even though the remains were sent to be tested more than 2 years ago, there still hasn't been a definitive answer for whether they belong to Brandon or what could have happened to him that night. Hopefully, with time, more conclusive answers will surface to give Brandon's...
What's this guy's name? Yeah. Levine? Levinson?
It's Lawson.
Lawson?
Absolutely, totally.
Yeah, probably Magic shows up. Or he's out.
Shows up like what?
What? There's nothing there.
Purely evil. Maplewood man gets sentenced 40 years. 40-year sentence for killing, dismembering two. There's no news about him? Wow. Oh.
What?
Human remains found in a hunt for missing man.
2024.
For missing man who made chilling 911 call.
Bro, 2013, they found him
11
now?
years ago.
No way they found him now.
Went missing on the night of August 9th, 2013. The father of four ran out of gas while on the road and never made it home to his family. Brandon's loved ones, as well as others in San Angelo community in Texas, have long searched for answers, and while many would have given up after so long, 9 years into their search, they found a key piece of evidence.
Why do you always wear hats? I used to wear hats because I was losing my hair. But now with Zion, I've been able to...
Zion.
Brandon Lawson is a father of four who vanished from a Texas freeway just moments after calling 911. 3 years later, his family says they are no closer to getting answers. In tonight's Cold Case, NBC5's Ashley Berry has the story of finding Brandon.
They asked me, why is my dad not at my birthday party? Why is my dad not here for Thanksgiving? Why is
That's
my
his
dad not here
kid.
for Christmas?
As she chokes back tears, Ledessa Lofton struggles to answer those questions her four children have been asking for years.
My son asked Santa that he wants his dad for Christmas.
Nolan is 5 now. He was just 18 months in 2013 when his daddy, Brandon Lawson, vanished along the desolate San Angelo highway. A Facebook page titled Help Find Brandon Lawson has more than 12,000 likes.
That's it?
Let's leave this out, bro.
So they found him
get
or
this
no?
shit off my goddamn screen.
Wait, is there
I
like
can't
a,
find shit from him.
is there still a Facebook page?
You got fucking Elon Musk over here. I'm fucking talking about Doge.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like we care about Doge.
Brandon Lawson.
Man, fuck it, bro. They don't care about people, bro. They really don't. Alright, man, that concludes. Damn, 45 minutes?
Yo, it's 6 o'clock.
This concludes the video.
Yep.
Alright?
Stay safe, y'all.
Stay safe. Like I said in the beginning, make sure y'all protect yourselves. There's crazy ass people in here, bro.
Facts.